Okay, so yeah, this is actually take two. So here we are with part two, and what we're looking at in part two is this idea of having a negative c. So what's going to happen is that in our parentheses, we're going to be looking at having one of our parentheses is negative and one is going to be positive. And depending on how we put those together, we'll determine whether or not b is a positive or a negative. And we are working with this problem, which is m squared plus 8m minus 20. I have determined that here are my factors, and I realize pretty quickly that when I have a positive 10 and a negative 2, I will create a positive 8. So I've set up my parentheses, put the m in both. I have a positive, I have a negative, and then here is my positive 10 and my negative 2. Now, we have been checking these, but I really think that you need to be very proactive with checking all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and I will take my m times m, getting my m squared. Outside, m times a negative 2, so minus 2m. Inside, positive 10m. And then outside, negative 20. And when I combine these two, I end up with m squared plus 8m minus 20. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to do another example. And this one we will have, let's do x squared plus 13x minus 48. Making my parentheses and saying x in each, positive, negative, now 48. So we start 1 and 48, 2 and 24. So far, I'm not seeing anything. This also is divisible by 3. And with 3, what do I have there? I've got 1, 18, 16. Ooh, 3 and 16. I can actually stop once I see it. Okay, so 3 and 16. I know that if I have a positive 16 and a negative 3, then that's going to solve that for me. So now I'm going to FOIL to make sure that it's correct. I've got x times x, it's x squared. Then my outside, x times negative 3 is negative 3x. X times positive 16, positive 16x. And 16 times negative 3 is negative 48. And that'll give me my x squared plus 13x minus 48. Okay. The only other part that we have left is factoring trinomials with two variables. You're doing the same exact thing. It's just that you're going to have a couple of variables. So let's move that up a little bit. And let's look at one of the problems, x squared plus 11xy plus 24y squared. Okay. So I am still factoring that 24 as if the y squared wasn't even there. So I'm going to say 1 and 24. And notice I've got plus and plus. I've got two positives. So I know that my parentheses will have an x in both and positive in both. Okay. So 1 and 24 is not going to do it. 2 and 12. 2 and 12 isn't going to do it. So what else do I have? Well, I've got 3 and 4. Nope, that's not going to do it. 3 and 8 will do it. 4 and 6. Okay, let's go back to the 3 and the 8 because 3 plus 8 is 11. So that's the one I'm looking for. Now what I have to do, quite simply, I'm going to say x plus 8y and x plus 3y. I'm just going to add these y's on, okay? So x plus 8y and x plus 3y. So now when I FOIL this, x times x, my first is going to be x squared. My inside, or my outside, x times 3y is 3xy, plus my inside, which is 8xy. And my last is 8y times 3y, which is 24y squared. I'm just going to combine these inside. So I have x squared plus 11xy plus 24y squared. Let's go ahead and do another one just to see it at work again. Let's do m squared minus 17mn minus 60n squared. So setting up my parentheses, I have an m, I have an m. Now, because this is negative and negative, that means that one of these has to be positive and one of these has to be negative. I can always tell by my negative c. Okay, so now I'm looking at having a negative and a positive, so I have to look at it a little differently. So my factors 1 and 60, now that's not going to do it. 2 and 30, that's still not going to do it. 3 and 10, yeah, that's not going to do it. Well, and as, of course, since 3 and 10 don't work anyway, it's 3 and 20. And actually, 3 and 20, when I do it right, blooper, like I needed that. I need the angel to watch over me. Ah, okay, so I know that this is going to work. So I'm going, because this is negative, that means my larger number needs to be negative. So my negative 20 and a positive 3. And I have to remember this n. Okay, and now I'll check my work. So I have m times m, which is m squared. Outside m times a negative 20n, which is negative 20mn. Notice I'm keeping it alphabetical. Okay, inside positive 3n times m, so this is plus 3mn, keeping it alphabetical again. And then positive 3n times a negative 20n, which makes a negative 60n squared. Combining my center terms there, and I've got m squared minus 17mn minus 60n squared. Okay, so hopefully all of that makes sense, and we'll do some great problems tomorrow. And let me know if you have any questions then. Thank you so much.